All right, today we are diving into something truly wild. It's a high-tech experiment, but it's also kind of an off-grid rebellion. It's called Project Free Life. And the big question is this a legitimate blueprint for a new kind of freedom? Or is it just an incredibly elaborate high-tech fantasy? Let's get into it. Okay, so take a look at this. On the left, you've got reality. A pretty standard, empty plot of land on the Texas coast. Nothing to see here. But on the right, that's the dream. It's this wild AI-generated vision of a futuristic resort with these cool domes and, yeah, that's a giant snake. So the question is, how in the world do you get from that empty lot to that? Well, to get from point A to point B, you first have to gather all the pieces of the puzzle. And in this case, the pieces that form the foundation of this project are, let's just say, they're not what you'd expect at all. So it all starts with this vehicle. Now, at first glance, it looks like a pretty normal, maybe slightly older RV. You see these on the highway all the time. But of course, with this project, there is way more to it than meets the eye. Because when you look inside, yeah, it has been completely gutted. This was never going to be used for a family road trip. It's a total blank canvas with industrial flooring and wiring that looks more like a mobile command center than a camper. And this is where things get really strange. Check out the shopping list. We're talking a military-grade shelter system, 5 industrial carports, and that motorhome, all scooped up at an auction. The final bill? Almost $26,000. This is not your buddy's weekend DIY project. And the vehicle's DNA, well, it tells the real story here. If you dig into the VIN number, you find out this isn't some simple camper. No, it's a Magnum B Series, a heavy-duty industrial rig. It's got a gross vehicle weight of 33,000 pounds and a monster Caterpillar turbo diesel engine. This thing is an absolute beast, built for some serious work. Okay, so let's recap the mystery here. We've got a gutted industrial vehicle, a military surplus shelter, a bunch of carports, and an empty piece of land. What on earth is the plan? The answer to that question apparently is in Palacios, Texas. This is the spot where this odd collection of parts is supposed to be transformed from a scrapyard pile into a science fiction vision. And here it is. This is the vision. It's called Project Free Life. And the idea is to build a fully autonomous, completely off-grid glamping site. That heavy-duty RV? It's not just a vehicle. It's designed to be the mothership, the central command and power hub for this entire high-tech ecosystem. But there's a much, much deeper layer to all this. It's not really about building a cool resort. The creator sees this project as a fortress, a physical and digital stronghold that's designed from the ground up to protect individual sovereignty. So, okay, how do you actually build this sci-fi utopia? Well, the answer is just as wild as everything else we've seen. It involves, and I'm not kidding, turning inflatable structures into permanent buildings. The secret sauce is a technique called poor man's fiberglass. Now, you can forget about expensive resins and complicated chemistry. This is a totally DIY composite material. You basically take ordinary fabric, we're talking canvas or even just old bed sheets, soak it in super strong wood glue, and then you seal the whole thing with exterior paint. And boom, you've got a tough, weather-resistant The process itself is just incredible. You start with an inflatable shape, like a big party tent. You get the surface ready, you slather it with glue, you lay down your fabric, and you make sure it is completely saturated. Then you just let it cure while keeping the whole thing inflated, and finally you seal it with paint. You are literally turning air into architecture. I mean, compared to traditional construction, this is just worlds apart. It's super lightweight, it's incredibly cheap, and it's totally DIY. And while it sounds a little nuts, get this, the core idea is actually inspired by high-tech research from NASA. For a project all about sovereignty, being able to build your own reality from simple stuff like this, that's a pretty powerful idea. Okay, so you've got this super complex project. How do you manage it all? Well, for Project Free Life, the management system isn't a person, it's an AI. This is the ghost in the machine. The plan is for the entire site to be run by an AI that is a digital twin of the creator himself. This AI, which he's named Paul Prime, is designed to be a virtual clone, an autonomous agent that can handle everything from ordering supplies to managing the construction itself. And to give this AI personality, to give it that deep knowledge, it's being trained on a massive data set that spans 40 years of the creator's life and work. We're talking everything, from his earliest videos back in 2006 to documentation of him being at the original iPhone launch to years and years spent prototyping these ideas inside video games.
Which, leads to a pretty crucial question. Building a digital twin with that much personal history is a huge challenge. So is today's AI technology really ready to take on a task this complex, this mission critical, without a human constantly looking over its shoulder?
184. That number, 184, is how many videos are actually on the creator's YouTube channel. When he asked his custom AI to count them, it kept telling him there were only 2. His response pretty much says it all. This highlights a massive problem. AI can be confidently and catastrophically wrong. And that is a huge risk when it's supposed to be managing a real-world physical operation. And all of this brings us to the final layer, the real why behind this whole thing. See, Project Free Life isn't just some quirky building experiment. It's designed to be a countermeasure to what the creator sees as a serious, growing threat. He calls that threat the control grid. The entire project is basically a response to this idea, a future that could be shaped by things like mandatory digital IDs, programmable money from central banks, AI gatekeepers controlling information, and even a new kind of algorithmic repression. Now, one specific thing fueling this is something called the Genius Act of 2025. According to the source material, this legislation would require companies that issue digital currencies to have the technical ability to seize, freeze, or even completely burn a user's funds if they're ordered to. It's that kind of centralized control that Project Free Life is being built to resist. And that really leaves us with the ultimate question, right? As our world gets more and more digitally controlled, are these radical, hands-on projects where you literally build your own world and manage your own systems the real future of freedom? Or is it all just a beautiful but maybe unattainable high-tech fantasy?